It's stinking hot out here. My video is probably going to be a hodgepodge of everything, just because it's been 3 weeks and I haven't really gotten anywhere because I'm waiting for parts and stuff. Well, I forgot to turn the camera back on, but I've got the seat installed, the fuel tank installed. This fits pretty well. I mean, I'm only 5'6", so this is easy. If I was any taller than this thing would be fairly uncomfortable, only because your knees would be at the dash. But since I was blessed with being English short, we're good. So, actually more like Irish short. So, alright, I've got to find my PTO cover for right here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and install a cup holder right there. Because if I'm going to drive this thing, some people put like 30 cal cans here, but they actually don't fit. And I'm not going to modify one right now. I want to get this thing driving. Welcome to the most over-engineered license plate holder. So I've got some brackets on the backside, and I had to modify this because of the where I'm putting it. This was originally attached to that. Get rid of that. It's not used. You've got a flat plate here. Let me do some welding and show you what I'm doing. Strap or a different one. Goes to the fender and plugs in with the rest of the lights. So this goes to the fender block, and then that goes to the fender block. These guys, these plug into something else. Alright, what I'm doing right now is removing the 24 volt light bulb. It's one of these guys. It's 24 volts. Doesn't work with my 12 volt system, but same as my F100. Number 67s work because they're 12 volt. So let me get this guy out of here, change it out with a 12 volt, and then close it up. It's kind of stuck. Come on now. There we go. You just push and twist. Sorry, I got glasses on. I have to be able to look down in there. I can't see. I want to make sure the tab is there. Looks like it. Alright, and then just, that's your ground. The positive is back here. Just make sure that this thing goes back on. It's waterproof. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like when I put power to it here in a second. Alright, these are the ones I'm using as my turn signal. So I've got it hooked to ground right now. There you go. Ground on the post and on this wire. Let me flip the wires. See, maybe this is a dual filament. Yeah, sure is. Dual filament bulb. Wonder how I'm going to do that. Well, I figured out where I wanted all my switches, and then I had extra holes here that I never filled because I thought I'd use them again, but they started to annoy me, so here we go. I'll fill this one up and put an end to this. Now that guy belongs there, so nothing goes in it, but I'm going to leave it. Let me get this all set up. I am going to weld, but probably not on view because I've already ruined this camera from that, so give me a minute. Alright, part of the process is I have to change my 24 volt bulbs to 12 volt bulbs. So this one is a 24 volt. It's a sealed piece. Can't really do anything about it. The whole panel here is just covered over. I haven't really been successful in finding a bulb for this. Since I'm not using this anyway, I'm just going to cut this open and find out if I can peel that socket out. Maybe I can go down to the parts store and purchase another socket and throw it in there, because that's about the only way that I would ever use this thing. I didn't do a good job painting, but who's going to see that? Nobody. Okay, another thing here. These two are lights, and then there's a high beam light too. Got to pull those out. Got to change them out. These I'm going to have to grind down a little bit to get to. I'm going to have to modify that one. See here, this is the old dash panel, and they had all kinds of weird shit going on here. You know, on and off, fan, low, high speed, whatever. That was for a heater, and I think that was also for the heater. 36,447 miles. That's the original one. I'm not gonna save it. I have new aftermarket, obviously. What I'm probably gonna do is sit here and I'm gonna twist that out to match this, because on my title it still has that mileage, which it most likely was the 36,000 miles, because when the machine shop took apart the engine, they said it was barely worn. Only one of the journals on the crank was oversized, so that was it. Let me get to this. So I finished putting it all together. It's not 100% perfect, but it's going to work definitely for what I'm doing. So let me test it out. It definitely sounds like a Jeep. So let me get to my posts here. Alright, I went down to West Marine. So this Jeep does not have any fuses, it does not have any circuit breakers or anything like that. It just goes pretty much straight from alternator to power. There is no stopping of anything if it happens, if it wants to trip a circuit or something like that. So what I'm going to end up doing, probably putting this guy in. only got 6 sources, which is fine. It's got a positive post here. The ground can be anything. I actually have a ground post somewhere. Doesn't matter what. But I think I'm gonna put this under the dash. But it's stinking hot out here. My video is probably gonna be a hodgepodge of everything, just because it's been 3 weeks and I haven't really gotten anywhere because I'm waiting for parts and stuff. So anyway, what right now I am doing, well, I'm actually cleaning up. But for your information, what I was doing is I was putting in a fuse box back there. This Jeep never had one. Never had any circuit breakers, none of that stuff. Now a CJ3, even a 2, would have had circuit breaker in the light switch on the backside. But this one doesn't have that, it has an internal one. All the power would go to that light switch, but I'm not gonna do that. I've got a couple of extra accessories that I wanna run. Obviously, turning signals, my little lights for wiper, red light, horn. That's just to power that switch so that when you're driving along, you push that button. This won't work without this one being in the on position. So that's that. Little flip switches, they're just sitting in there right now. Got the ignition switch out right now because I want to go clock it for my drawing. And I gotta clean up the rest of this stuff. It's just everywhere. Horn is in, but then I see I've got to clock that too. This needs to be here. So I'm gonna take it apart again just to do that, but I'll do that later. It's too hot right now. Anyway, I'm gonna throw all these wires back inside. I did order the correct cloth covered wire. I actually found it on Amazon. Found that. I'm gonna rewire all this stuff because I don't like having multiple different styles of wire running through here. And let's see what else. Yeah, this harness is terrible. The one that I bought is for a CJ3A, but the guy wrote M38 on it. Yeah, body size they're the same, but the electrical stuff, they're not the same. Let me get this cleaned up. All the wire, I bought new wire to match the rest of this stuff, and I bought some connectors, the 2-to-1s. Those were not cheap. Just a little pack of these bullet connectors too, and a ton of heat shrink. I got this on Amazon and it was actually fairly cheap, so I was surprised. So it'll shrink down enough. So we'll give all this a shot. So anyway, already this morning I have drilled a hole into my battery box to mount my fuse. Bolt right there is going to hold the bracket in on the other side. Dog pool was a failure. My dogs were like, nope, we're not doing this. Bad life choice. So, I'll dump it out here when I'm done. I don't want to stand in the mud. So I've got the front side wired up. This is in a harness somewhat. I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit, but get my cables all wired out. I gotta get my ground going. My headlight. Got my my horn has some wire going to it. My turn signal. I'm finishing up this side right now. I couldn't find like how to hook up the left turn signal because it didn't have a cable nowhere. So I'm gonna end up making one right here and just throwing it in. I'll hook that. These go to the top of that terminal block. This is for holy shit, blackout light. I think, I'm sorry. It's about 105 degrees out here and I'm standing in the sun half the day. Either way, I've got to figure out how to connect this one to the 2 on here. I have a bridge on there. 2-to-1. I could throw another 2-to-1 from here onto this and then throw a piece here, and then I have to go from here in, and that is not originally there. I only have so much wire left before I'm out, so that will be tight. I mean, I've got 2 months before I come back, and I guess I can buy another 10 foot of that wire and rewire that one portion when I get back from my next Caribbean vacation. Okay, let me get back on it. Alright, let's see where I left off yesterday. It started storming on me last minute as I was getting moving. Look at this mess. Okay, so these are coming out. This was wire I ran aft to my lights, the red light, and also to the this gas tank light, but I'm going to rip those out and I'm going to start over. But I started mounting stuff, so I need to find a clip to put this down. This light has dual filament. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might just cap this one off with a snow cap and then shove it back in. This, I'm debating about taking it back apart because it was kind of a jerky thing to put together. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was a pain in the rear end. Not like it's gonna get soaking wet under here anyway, but I can change these wires out, or at least splice them, and then they hook to these guys. And they're supposed to be like a little, oh my gosh, I can't think, sorry, horn solenoid or a relay right here. So I will go find that, and I guess I'll put my bronze down still. And I've got to find my little clips that will fit over these. I've got them in the garage. I will get those. I'm going to start messing with all this. I don't remember how the emergency brake cable or the parking brake cable hooked in. I remember there being a bracket up here, but I can't remember where it was hooked. If it was hooked to fender, hooked to what? I don't remember. I want to say it was hooked to like right here. But it's been 2 years since I took that out. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then I've got to figure out where I'm going to mount this guy. And I'm just kind of... That little frog just scared the crap out of me. It was in... with the car cover, and it jumped out of it as I was trying to lift it up. So it's probably gonna see the end of its life here in a moment, as I've got all 3 dogs out here. Can't really tell, but it's a tiny bit of rain coming down. Weather says it's gonna rain about 4, and it's only 12:30 right now. Whatever, I grew up in Oregon. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I've got 2 wires running back. I'm going to run these aft to the tail lights, and I couldn't remember why I was going to run the blue light, and then I had to go look at my notes, and it's for the blackout lights. So on the type of system that I've got with obviously a turn signal, can't have blackout lights specifically, so I needed turn signal lights, I need stop lights. There is no backup light. I need a tail light for, well, on the running lights, I guess, for the license plate here. So I have to wire that in. Actually, I'm kind of doing a shitty job at it, but this wire is going to go up to where it goes here. This one I'm going to pull and connect, figure out how to attach it, and I need to pop those lights off. This light I'm going to replace, put it on just like this one. Obviously the goat lens is going to change, but it has two light bulbs plus one, or it might be 2 in 1. So I'm removing the blackout light for the aft side of the Jeep and putting in enough so I can have turn signals, stop light, and just regular lights. Current configuration, I can't do that. So I'm going to climb back up under, and I'm going to mess around with the wiring and hopefully do a better job this time than I was doing the last time I tried. You know what? It's now August. It is now August 7th. I was supposed to be leaving this week to go on deployment, but wouldn't you know it, I had another electrical fire on the generator side, which is, you know, like the big alternator side of a diesel engine. It's producing all the power for the ship. Well, it caught on fire, so we're not going anywhere until that gets fixed and replaced. But we got to cut a hole in the ship, replace the engine, replace the generator side, which is like an alternator, and then button it back up before we can even go. So we're delayed, which is great for me because that means I get to do more out here. I don't remember if I put it in the last video or last clip, I should say. I didn't finish this yet, but I'm not a fan of this particular light or the wiper. It was supposed to have a switch ground, but it doesn't. So I ran wires thinking that was what it was for, and it's not, and I'm not going to be able to use these until I replace this with a switched one. So I need to unhook one of those leads and just leave it stuffed in there, so when I do bring on the other one, it'll be attached. So I do have power going from battery source to my fuse block, and then it goes up here. So I'm going to switch the leads so that I just have switched. It's just switched here. Anyway, let me back at it. Off, this won't work. Alright, this is the carrier light on top. Okay, so I've got some lights, and I don't have turn signals because I'm missing the flasher, but I do have the correct direction. They're lighting up. I'm a little bit frustrated because I'm missing some stuff, and lights are acting a little weird with the switch. So not really a big deal, but I will rectify this here in time. And not bad. They're both that one's too. So those are supposed to be the flashers for an emergency. Okay, so that's it for this. I'm gonna close off the video. I'm gonna clean up my mess. I'm going to set this aside and make sure that I have things ready to go for my next trip when I get home. I can finish this up. I actually got so frustrated at this pre-made harness that I actually went to rip it out and start all over because it wasn't what I was buying the way that it was advertised. So I'm not happy about it. And yeah, that's that. So guys, all have a good one.